Yeah, y'all. So I also want to come on here, y'all, to chalk it up with y'all about this whole Usher and Kiki Palmer video. This shit, I knew they was gonna do something. Like I knew that fucking conversation was about to be over. Like as soon as that shit started dying down and bitches started to shut the fuck up, I knew that they was gonna do something to draw more attention to that shit. Why? Because black women are the focal point, right? This is what's happening, y'all. I'm gonna break this shit down. They know we don't give a fuck about these niggas at all. The average black woman, I don't give a fuck what the hell you're seeing on social media. Social media is fake. They have their little plants on here to make shit look the way they want it to look. They have their plants on here to have conversations and keep conversations going, going on that nobody gives a fuck about. So, they control narratives on here using these little fucking trolls on here, right? So this Kiki Palmer and Usher shit is just some troll antics. It's just the whole shit is just designed to keep the attention on black women and harassing our asses because these bitches are mad that we don't want to fuck with these Negroes no more. We don't care about the patriarchal system. We don't care about maintaining the system. We don't give a fuck about having kids or being mothers or being any of that shit. Like we are doing away with that. They see that this has become a conversation with a lot of women talking about they don't want to give birth, they don't want to have fucking kids, or they regret having fucking kids. They don't want to fuck with Negroes specifically, which is a problem that these Negroes are not on the radar on anymore. They're not, what I'm saying, no damn BBC, BBC ass Wakanda. Well, what the fuck would it? It wouldn't even be Wakanda. It would be like Mandingo. You know that Mandingo trope. Okay, hold on, y'all. But yeah, so sorry, y'all. I had a phone call. But yeah, um, where was I at, y'all? I forgot what I was just saying. But these conversations on here are fake, and they know that the average black woman ain't giving a fuck. So, and the whole system design, like the whole system of America, like for this shit to function, blacks on the bottom, the racial hierarchy, white supremacy, all this shit is entwined with each other, right? In order for the system to be maintained, you have to always be on the chopping block. You have to always be stalked and harassed, belittled, degraded. Why? Because I told y'all, in order for these other fucking races of people to be at the top of the racial hierarchy, black women have to be degraded. Your male group has to hate you and have to, work in a concerted effort collectively to keep you at the bottom and keep you poor and undesirable and fucking as slaves here. Okay? Why? Because they're still trying to function as, just like slavery, like chattel slavery. That shit literally never stopped. Just because we got off the plantation and they rearranged shit don't mean that it's not the same system design. It's the same shit. Trying to keep blacks on the bottom and everybody else at the fucking top and white supreme at the top. That's what all of this shit is about. So right now, that's what the fuck they're doing is trying to keep the focus on our ass, stalking and trolling us over the fucking internet about being, we're us not fulfilling traditional female roles and oh we're not good women and all this other stupid. It's stupid as fuck because we literally don't fucking care. Nobody gives a flying fuck about whether or not you know um what I'm saying, Kiki Palmer was wrong or in the right for going to a concert and wearing that outfit she wore. Don't nobody give a fuck. Don't nobody care. Like niggas can say whatever the fuck they want to. Bitch, ain't nobody even with y'all niggas, and that's a statistical fact. So when they run in their fucking mouth about wife material and what, bitch, nobody even wants you. Nobody wants you. Nobody's trying to fuck with y'all. We already know about y'all. We first of all, you said you was getting your passports. You bitch ass niggas obviously ain't doing that because y'all clearly lied about that, and you just want to stalk somebody. So we all know like the jig is up on your ass now. You just a fucking stalker who won't leave. Because the reality is we don't give a fuck about none of y'all Negro. Y'all not popping. You're not popping. You're not desirable. You're not popping. It ain't no whole bunch of women like, oh, I gotta find me a man. I gotta find me a black man, please. Ain't nobody doing that shit. Nobody's thinking like that. Nobody cares. We don't care about what Negroes think. We ain't trying to appease you. We don't give a fuck. And them little thirsty ass, rag faced ass bitches who do care, nobody wants to be them ashy assholes. Don't nobody care about them rag face bitches. Don't nobody want to beat them. Ain't nobody no competition with their stupid ass. Nobody gives a fuck about what they're talking about either. Cause you know you have them little sprinkle of banjies who want to keep running their fucking mouth trying to side with some Negroes against uh you know what I'm saying, Keke Palmer or whatever. Bitch, somebody care about your irrelevant non-factor fucking ass. You a reject ass bitch. And 9 times out of 10, no, you ain't even got no dude. Nobody wants you. You're not in a relationship. You're not married. Nobody gives a fuck about you. So that's just the bottom damn line. That's why they keep these conversations going, and that's why the fuck Usher and Keke Palmer did that dumbass music video, because they just wanted the conversation to keep going. That's all. They knew that shit was gonna make the conversation continue. Like now these Banjis are back at it again, arguing with Ashy Ass Daquan again about the same shit they just stopped talking about. Like it ain't nobody wants these. I know the truth. I don't give a fuck what they put out in the media. It doesn't matter. I know the truth. Black women don't care about no Negroes. When I see black women out in their everyday life, they're not concerned with Negroes. They're not trying to impress them. They're not concerned with their ass. They're not all self-conscious trying to, you know, do all of this shit to get no man. They're not doing none of that shit no more. Period. Them days are over. Nobody gives a fuck about no Negro. So, you know, they just pushing propaganda at this point because that's all the fuck they can do. They keep us, they it's like witchcraft or, you know, demonic possession. They're trying to brainwash us, keep us thinking about certain shit because they're stalking us. Like they want us always thinking about Negroes and always thinking about stupid shit that we really don't care about. We don't have to care about it. Negroes are the ones out here homeless, broke, ain't got a pot to piss in. They keep trying to circulate bitches, and they probably having a hard time right now doing that shit because bitches don't want to fuck with them like that. So circulating bitches is not, I don't think it's going well for these niggas no more. I don't think they're going to end up circulating these trash ass bitches who ain't got nothing. So either way, they're going to end up on the street. They're not going to have shit. They're going to be poor, broke, and living like a homeless, broke down motherfucker, regardless to if they have a woman or not. Because the only pussy trying to fuck with them now is trash. Period. They have no access to no women with no money, no women with no education, no women with nothing. But like those women ain't circulating a dirty dick ass. Black women with sense ain't.
So hey, black women. I thought it was necessary to come and do a video. I'm putting together in this video a complete compilation of quite a few things, right, for you guys to listen to, because I seriously want to drive this point home, right? There's two main things I want to drive. The first one is very political. I want you all to really stop just listening to the things that people and creators, content creators that push Republicans and down talk Democrats are saying on these platforms. And I'm going to tell you why. If you really don't pay attention to politics, never just listen to somebody who blanketly speaks about one group of people, because it is never correct, okay? Now, I have a party I belong to, but I vote for candidates in every single party based on the election I'm voting for, because if the person is right for the job, that's who I pick. However, let us not ever forget that the majority of Republicans in this country are staunch racists who do things like trying to destroy and rewrite, whitewash our history, write into existence unjust laws and processes that harshly affect black people. And you could look at all of the things that went on in Mississippi with that Senate Bill 1020. You could look at the things that happened in the voting lawsuits in many southern states, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas. It was quite a few number of them, right? And to this day that I'm making this video, those voter suppression lawsuits are still being appealed, still being challenged, and still being dealt with, to the point where those particular Republican states and Republicans throughout the country were specifically drawing the district lines so that the vote of the black people, period, would be suppressed. Now, I know that goes in contradiction to all of the ignorant Klansmen's talking points that divestors make, especially ignorant ass channels like Divested Zealot. But you have to stop being on this platform and being irresponsible and being simply stupid, because I don't give a fuck how much you don't like black males. You have to live in this world where you have to exercise a fucking brain, process all the knowledge in it, and not just take talking points to heart and have them become part of your consciousness just because you like the way that shit sounds. It has to actually be beneficial and make sense for you and you alone. And by that, I mean only you black women. It is about time you stop fucking around in this life and start voting for people who are only talking about progresses, programs, and everything else that address the needs of the everyday black woman. And if you don't have those people, then you get out here and you rally for them the way you do when individual black males get shot and you don't like it. You get out there and you start standing up for yourself. You get out there and you start voting for yourself. You start running office for yourself. You get out there and you start getting your education you need for yourself, the employment you need for yourself, so that you get out of poverty. Don't care if black males stay in poverty, because they do not care if you stay in poverty. As a matter of fact, they go out of their way to make sure you stay in poverty. And you would have to literally be out of your mind to vote for any black male that is running for president of this country, because I told y'all in several videos back, it's getting ready to go into September. So all of a sudden now, all of these coons, and that's really what they are, and now you got two black coons running for presidency, right? Where they're against reparations, because, you know, we live in a country where slavery never happened and black people are just treated so great here, and none of us have ever been discriminated against. And this country has never systematically made any rules that seriously give us inequality and injustice. Like, all of that shit that really happened factually and historically is a figment of our imaginations, right? So when you have these type of two dudes running for office or running for president, you never want to elect these people. These are people that are going to go out of their way to do everything they can to be as non-threatening and favorable to white people, so that if they ever do get in office, they'll be worse than any racist white man known to man. And then when you think about the fact that what black politician who is a male has ever done anything to help the plight of black women, they always go out of their way to do everything to further assist white people. So you would be a fucking fool to vote for any Republican, both white or black. And now you have two ignorant ass black male coons running for the presidency. And they're doing everything they can to make white people feel like they're safe and they're one of them, because they are. Now, with the way you hear these ignorant dudes talk about black women on YouTube, about how they want to kill us, the world would be a better place without us being in it, the only thing we good for is sucking dick for $5. Don't forget any of that shit. How they come on here and tear you down every day, all day, trying to make the whole world hate you because they are not men and they don't know how to be men, and they don't know how to take care of themselves. They don't know how to get an education, get jobs that sustain themselves, and do responsible adult things. So they make that your fault, as if they're not grown adults who are responsible for their own choices in life. So when you know all of this and you think about black femicide, domestic violence, and in this video I'm going to put several clips to remind you of how graphic and how viciously, horrifically savage these black males are to black women. Y'all better wake up. It's not about just sitting on YouTube talking about black males all day and how fucked up they are. We know that. This is why I always tell you, stop listening to Cynthia. Stop listening to people like Princella, because whether you want to believe it or not, those are hustlers only on here trying to tell you what you want to hear so that you can continue to pay their rent and give them a check from YouTube the same way every black male that you promote in the manosphere does, or any other black male on here that puts up those ignorant ass panels that are useless, talking about how you're not woman enough and how you're not masculine, you're not feminine but masculine. All of that is ignorant shit that you need to be turning the page on, because number one, no woman can be masculine. And whenever somebody says that to you, it is a definite insult to disrespect and dehumanize you. Put that in your brain. And secondly, stop thinking that anything these black males have to say about you in any way, you should give any fucks about, okay? Because ultimately what it comes down to is they come on here to try to talk and brainwash you into taking care of them as if you are their personal welfare system. I have said that since I've come on here. And you don't want to listen because you don't want to look at the realities of life. Well, you're going to see that as time goes on and people get out here and start running for office, they're going to put our asses on the chopping block. You understand that? They're going to make life as hard as possible for us. They're not even going to be mentioning these black male fools that are out here committing all these crimes. And when they start talking about being tough on crime, if you listen to the coded language, they're going to be talking about things that are ultimately directed to black women, even though we as black women know that if someone would ever address the issues of what black males are doing and then set up the programs to empower black women, all this bullshit would go away. There would be no more poverty, no more ignorance and all this stupidity of crimes and ridiculous ghetto living in our communities, because once black women have an education, they're taught to live life differently. They're raised up in a very nurturing, loving, supportive household. They don't turn out to be stupid people like Krishan and Miami and who did this other girl that's dealing with this blue-faced motherfucker and whoever else, right? They don't grow up to be ignorant people like that. They don't grow up to be people who are portrayed, scripted as idiots on Love and Hip Hop and every other fucking thing that's out here for black women. And the actual hip hop songs and the things that our entertainers do to disrespect themselves and to make us seem like we're nothing but fuckable objects and not even human beings the same way they did us in slavery, that shit would stop. Okay? So you have got to, like I've said before, turn the page on this bullshit. Turn the page. Stop worrying about arguing with them about doing the right thing and worrying about you changing so you could be in a relationship with them. A relationship with them for what? So they could kill you? Because that's what's going to happen. All right. The other thing is the politics, very seriously. You got to stop playing around and take politics seriously. You got to really learn yourself. Because I've seen in this week alone, way too many black women who don't know what they're talking about. They're very ignorant. Even though you all tend to favor them and think they're intelligent, they're stupid. And they're on here trying to tell you that voting for a white man like DeSantis and others, where they clearly have shown you they do not give a fuck about you, and they want to do everything in their power to write laws into effect to oppress and suppress you. They're on this platform telling you to vote for motherfuckers like that. And if you do, you're the dumbest person in the world, and you will be suffering the way you need to if you vote for them. All right. Elections is coming. That means the fall is coming in and winter follows. So that means that evictions are going to rise. In September, there will be a lot of hiring, but there will also be a lot of firing. There's seasonal employment change that will be happening. There will be changes in, offices, because people whose terms are ending will be either voted out or voted in. You'll get new people immediately scrapping old programs that may have been beneficial to poor people. This is the big push. So black women, seriously, since we are always affected by the political climate in this country, once you start to understand that once you come together and realize that your money, how you spend it, what you do with it, who you give your time to, who you literally give your views to on YouTube, can change your existence in this country 100%. Like if you all decided tomorrow, I'm no longer listening to Cynthia G. I'm no longer listening to Princella. I'm no longer listening to people like Cerebral, other smaller content creators who are also extremely ignorant, Nosy Neighbor Lady, right? And others. And I decide that from now on, I'm going to only watch content creators that are giving me informational things like me that can help you. Content creators that are talking about finances, education, housing, politics, and how to teach you how to decipher what you feel is in your best interest. Not directing you, vote for this one, vote for that one. No. They're teaching you how to decipher, this is what's going on in the market. This is what's going on internationally. This has affected us this week with world affairs, the World Bank, the world this, the world that. That's how you need to be on here operating. It is time you need to grow up, get off of the worrying about everyday silly shit, hair, nails, men fucking, and gossip. Stupid celebrities that don't do shit for you, but who are out here to influence you to keep your life problematic, keep your life impoverished. You do not need that shit. You need to grow mentally. You need to become the giant that you were born to be. Like, you have to stop being scared to do better. And with that, I'm going to stop right here because I intend to come back and talk more during this video. But I got a lot of people in here to tell you exactly what I'm saying as well. Now, as this next clip starts, I want you to keep in mind, right? I told you about how stupid these content creators are. Now, this is a clip from Cerebral's page, who is quite ignorant, right? Now, her issue, everybody knows she has a lot of issues with accepting that colorism exists within the black community, right? And now she's also exhibiting the fact that she has an issue with not understanding that slavery was important. It is very historical. It has had an impact on our past, present, and our future, right? And it still affects our presence this day. People really have a problem grappling with the fact that the infrastructures that made America money during slavery are still in existence to this day and still make America money the way they did then. And people are blindly and wrongfully made to think that slavery was such a long time ago, because you have people literally saying that when it was not. There have people been enslaved and let go up until the 1960s in this country. There's a very true story that a movie was made about to explain that to you. And that was the very movie Keke Palmer played in, called Alice. Okay? So, not to mention, there are literally people, depending on how old they are, who survived slavery and still are alive to this day. They're either close to 100 or a little over 100, okay? And then you have the people that definitely, okay, had ancestors and who were the direct children of slavery in places like Tulsa, Oklahoma, in the last riot and massacre, that are two surviving people from that community today who were just who had just turned down and lost their lawsuit for their own type of reparation for the massacre that went on in their town in, I believe, 1919. So when she starts this conversation off, she starts it off trying to belittle the actual importance and impact slavery has had on America, and especially black people, and especially black women then and now. And this is the ignorance I'm talking to y'all about when you're on here listening to these stupid women who are on here basically for views and a check from YouTube. That's it. No more, no less. But because they come across with this sort of, I don't have an English word, but savoir-faire, so that you believe that, oh, this is an elegant woman, she's intelligent, or she may even make herself to be attractive to you. You are being hoodwinked because you're not actually seeing and hearing the manipulation that is going on. However, the best part of what's about to happen is that you get a real black woman that calls into her show that has a wealth of information to give to other black women, and I want you to hear it. Because the woman who called in was worth more than the damn creator.
It's psychological traumas from the medical data that they did on the mice, which comes through and expresses itself in the physical. Meaning that if you grow up in a household and all you see your mother doing is fulfilling the role of a mother, you're not going to think or feel or have time to analyze and say, do I need to sit down right now? Do I need to just go for a walk and be in nature? How is my mental health? How is my physical health? We've been programmed to run ourselves ragged to serve everyone else and never serve ourselves. Say, for instance, growing up, I remember I would see my mother. She would make her husband's plate first. Then she would serve all of us children. And then she would serve herself last. Now, some people would say, okay, that's not so much of a bad thing. But I'm just using that as an example. Even when we have children, we're going to make sure that the children, all of their necessities are met. And then before we even have time to analyze and meet our own necessities, we're exhausted. We don't even have time to do and care for ourselves because we're exhausted. So that's what I'm expressing and explaining.
Okay. So a pattern.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, when you mention this trauma, you talking about slavery and stuff.
No, it isn't. It didn't necessarily have to be from like the American chattel slavery in that aspect, because even the Caucasian women that was on these lands that weren't in the chattel slavery, they themselves were still slaves to their husband and their household. They were expected to bear children and as many sons as possible. Yeah. They were still expected to fulfill a certain capacity that had nothing to necessarily do with her and her individuality.
So the patriarchy.
So I don't just yes. So I don't necessarily just link it directly to the American chattel slavery here. That it goes way beyond that, because there's been different women throughout different history, different periods of throughout history, that they themselves were not the slaves in that land. They weren't the chattel property in that land, but they were still property to their husband in that household, and still suffered the same conditions, just in a different aspect. But it still came down to a genetic marker that's programmed into the women throughout our lived experience collectively, that we are to serve everyone and never even contemplate serving ourselves in any capacity. We've all been programmed to be servants to everyone but ourselves.
There's a growing number of women, though, who are saying to be selfish.
Yes. I remember I said to my sister, I said, just like you have two hands with two palms, I said, on one hand, you have selfish, and on the other hand, you have selfless. I said, through my lived experience, I've been selfless long enough, and I refuse to continue in that accord. I am now going to be selfish. I apologize for the truck beside me.
It's okay.
I am now going to be selfish. And even my children had to learn to adjust to that. They were thrown for a loop too for, just a little period of time, that like, wow, mommy's not doing this and mommy's not doing that. And what's going on with mommy. But then over a course of time, when I brought the evidence to them and I explained to them that what made me flip my wig, and by what I mean by that is when I flipped my switch from off to on and turned on my light bulb, it was a culmination that I came to the understanding that I did not know who I was outside of being mother, sister, daughter.
Okay.
And until one is willing to go walk about with themselves, then you're not going to be of any service to yourself, but you will always be an indentured service to everyone else.
You know, there was a guy I knew. He got mad at me because I said if I had kids, I deserve a mommy day where if I want to travel somewhere and I can get a babysitter or have my mom watch the kids if I just want to go somewhere. And he said that's wrong. That I got to watch my kids forever.
That part. That part.
Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't want to leave them, but damn, can I go somewhere? I want to go somewhere.
Well, and that's also what I meant by keep that be busy with everything but herself. A lot of men in a lot of lands know that the vast majority, I'm not going to speak in an absolute here and brush everybody with the same paintbrush, but the vast majority of women, when they have children, they allow themselves to be bonded to that child, and not in a negative way, but aspects of it can come out in an unhealthy way for her, because then she is put in the coffin of a title of I'm mother and I'm only mother. Even with dealing with my mother, when I became, older and more seasoned and mature within myself, I had to take a step back and understand that a lot of issues that I thought that were issues that or problems that I had with her was because I was not allowing myself to see her as a full, total being outside of mother. Meaning you were your own person before you chose to give birth to anyone. You had a whole life of your own. You had aspirations of your own. You had dreams of your own. You had things that you wanted to fulfill for yourself. They had nothing to do with children. And that was something that I had to break down to my children, especially one of my daughters, that look, I am your mother and I'm always going to be your mother. But you all are of the age that is no longer needed for me to breastfeed y'all anymore. I am going to go and evolve and grow myself and find out what I like and what I don't like, what I want and what I don't want, what I want to achieve. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But when that bee is kept busy with everything but herself, she doesn't have time to expand herself. And we've been matter of fact, I said this to someone the other day. I said it to my sister about one of her girlfriends. She has 9 children, and they're all pretty much like back to back to back to back to back, right? And I said, you know what? In analyzing us as a collective, I realized that a lot of us self-consciously, meaning unknowingly to yourself, subconsciously, we've been so programmed to be this mother archetype that when the youngest child gets of an age, say around 5 or 7, right? Something in us shifts that, they're growing up and they don't necessarily need me in the capacity that they needed me in when they were younger than 5. So subconsciously, I've witnessed how a lot of women will go and get pregnant again to have a child because in essence that child subconsciously on a psychological level, that child, we've been programmed to use the children to keep us hostage from growing ourselves.
It keeps them busy, something to do.
It's something to do other than going home to, and by
even with black women as the race soldier thing, always worrying about fighting for random black men no matter what he did, instead of working on black women and working on herself. Always being the
That part.
sacrifice.
That part.
Because
And we
she's
have been
bored.
programmed
She
to be
wants to
the
feel
sacrificial
important.
lamb.
She wants to feel important, a part of the community, like she's doing something to help save them.
She wants to feel needed. Yeah. 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 That if I'm not needed, it is meaning she is something within her psyche subconsciously that if I'm not providing a care in some capacity to someone other than myself, because God forbid that, if I'm not providing a care to someone else other than myself, then I feel as if I am non-essential.
Okay.
But thank greatness, these younger generations of young ladies are not on that wavelength. They're not on that wavelength. Meaning like the children of like say like I don't know everybody the Gen Zs and all, I don't know what the name of it is, but say like the children from like the mid to late 1990s to present. And I'm actually proud of them. I am actually proud of them. Now do I tip my hat off to everything that they're doing? No, because some of it is nonsense and some of it is just them being lost, right? Mm-hmm. But meaning the ones that are willfully in a cognizant way saying, you know what, I don't want to have children. Like people, especially a lot of women, they think that that's sacrilege to hear another woman say, I don't want children. Yeah. Like that is the epitome of
you get roasted bad.
Yes. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Just because, you know, she's still in her youth and does not want to flush her youth down the toilet because she wants to get to know herself and know when she's ready to have children and in what capacity she wants to bring those children up. Y'all demonize them? I don't get it.
I've seen the women on TikTok showing the hate messages they get from people saying that you're a waste of a woman for doing that.
That part.
It's like, well, why would you want somebody to have a mother that didn't want them? She might abuse the damn child because she didn't want the damn baby. You know, people shouldn't be. Yeah, they shouldn't be forced. People shouldn't be forced to have kids they don't want because the child's gonna suffer.
And a lot of it still goes back to religion, where they try to use that scripture talking about a tree that doesn't bear fruit, chop it down. And it's like, wait a minute, but that tree is still producing oxygen. That tree is still producing shade. That like really like, and that's what I mean, that we've been forced into these titles, which are really coffins of motherhood, mother, sister, daughter. You got to be serving someone in some capacity other than yourself. And my hat's off to these younger ladies. They're taking time to educate themselves. They're taking time to nourish themselves. They're taking time to develop and to grow themselves internally, to know what they want, what they don't want, what they like, what they don't like, what they're willing to accept, and what they're willing to walk away from.
Yep, because especially when it comes to men, because to a lot of men, we're just disposable. We ain't nothing but punani to them. They don't give a damn what happens to us. They don't give a damn. A large portion of them. And then you end up opening your legs. He took it. You end up pregnant, maybe get a disease, whatever. He don't give a damn. And then you left just there. I mean, child.
And now that we are coming out of that, now that we are, pardon me, now that we're coming out of that programming, the men across the globe, they don't know how to take it. They don't know how, they're lost. They're lost. They don't know how to, wait a minute, she doesn't think or feel or operate that she's here to only serve me and she only exists because I exist. Like, they don't know how to take it. They don't know how to take it.
Yeah, they're having fits, having podcasts, all types of stuff about it, saying a woman can't be fulfilled without us. I mean, some women are fine without a man. I wouldn't want to die alone. I don't have a problem saying that I want my husband and stuff like that. But if it don't happen, what I'm supposed to do? Men act like we don't choose, the man chooses. And if you're not the right one, I'm not going to marry you. I'm not going to be miserable just so I can say I'm married. You ain't even the person for me.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot. A lot of women are married to the wrong men.
Yes. And
Just
only because of the programming that we're told that we're supposed to be married.
miserable marriages, and even some men.
People have to take the time and understand that the first one that you're supposed to marry is yourself. You're not supposed to marry anyone outside of yourself until you marry yourself and commit to yourself. And when I came into learning the difference between a desire, a need, and a want, a desire and a want is not a need. A need is a necessity. We need sunlight. We need water. We need clean food. We need somewhere to have a safe haven. Those are necessities. If you do not have those things, you will most assuredly perish. Sex and being in a relationship with someone other than yourself is not a necessity. It's a desire and it's a want. And so many people are willing and have been programmed and swallowed the Kool-Aid to seek out, head over freaking heels, to seek out desire and want before understanding what a necessity is, and making sure that you have your necessities covered before you venture off into, oh, I like this, I want that, I desire that. Ain't nobody never perished from not having a desire or a want fulfilled.
So I want you to really play back and listen to what the caller had to say. Disregard everything Cerebral had to say, because if you haven't understood it by now, that is what you guys refer to as an antebellum slur, okay? She is very, very identified, very concerned, and very, very obsessed with the gaze of men, the being in the presence of men, and never ever really focusing on the progression and just what it takes for black women to get to the point where they are solely concerned with their situation in the world and how they're going to improve themselves and how they're going to move forward without giving one thought to a black male. She's not the woman for that, which is why you have all this continual nonsense on YouTube with her and many other creators who have huge followings that continue to confuse, deceive, and mislead black women into always worrying about unnecessary relationships that cause them to end up on the black femicide list and to live in very horrific situations of domestic violence. When you occupy the majority of your time with, oh, how am I going to get the attention of this man? I feel lonely. I need love too. These are all things that you convince yourself that you need. They're not actualities. Like what the caller was saying, you have necessities in this world that you must have. Otherwise, you will die. She said perish, but I say die. You need to breathe air, drink water. You need to nourish your body, and you need to keep your body in some form of mobility. Otherwise, you will literally not be here anymore. You do not need to have sex. You do not need to have children. You do not need to be in a relationship with another person. You need those basic survival things. And then you need to command yourself in a way where you are comfortable within your own skin to the point where you're your own best friend and your company is all that you need. If we're ever going to start turning the page on all this continual bullshit on YouTube that is created for us to make us believe that this exaggerated shit that goes on here, which is a form of theatrical production, right? There's a real term in theater called extended dramatization. This is what is going on YouTube. And when you heard our RWS hashtag exposed earlier in this very video tell you about how they have plants on YouTube to create and continue this environment, well, all your main content creators are those very things, because they stay on the same topic day after day, year after year, never progressing, never ever upgrading, never progressing. This is to keep you stagnant in a situation of poverty, dysfunction, and confusion, and constant hostility. When your mind is in those levels, you develop and you overproduce fluids in your body that are harmful to your health and to how you perform mentally. When you are in a state of euphoria or calmness, your body releases a very positive and helpful fluid into your system called synovial fluids. With those fluids also comes endorphins. Those things regulate the homeostasis of your body, which is like the balancing of your body, so that you have a perfect balance between physical and mental, where you literally feel like when you probably went to a yoga class, and then right after the yoga class, you feel that sense of like just ease, where you can just go to sleep or float for another hour. That is the way you can live every day once you get rid of all the stress, all the stupidity, all the desperation to need to be with a man and be in a relationship, and you focus on you. Selfishly focus on you. How I want to get my hair done. How do I want my face to look? How do I work on anti-aging? How do I work on increasing my money? How do I work on moving to this fabulous community I want to live in? How do I work on getting that promotion at work? How do I work on transitioning to an entirely different career? How do I work on becoming the most sophisticated, uppity or bourgeois, untouchable, conceited version of me I can be? That's the type of shit you should be concerned with, and not this, let me put these black women to sleep type shit that's going on YouTube. Let me keep them stuck in the quicksand of the dumb shit where they'll eventually end up getting with a man, getting their ass beat, and getting killed. Let's try to eliminate that bullshit.
Twisted Crimes.
Come see the DJ. I got your driver's license. I've been trying to keep it undercover all night, man. LaTanya Taylor, I got your driver's license. Come see me. Anybody know her? Come see me.
She had moved to Maryland with her family after spending some time with her new love and was preparing to marry Deontay Sims. Dina was really hopeful. She really loved Deontay. She gave it all she could. She posted a lot about them. She posted a lot of the things they did. They went on vacation together, partied together, and some other stuffs any decent couple would do.
I have not been on the beach in so long. Oh my gosh, look, my feet are in sand. I haven't felt this sand in years. Wow. See? This is when you miss home. Oh man. Can't believe it. I want to touch the water, but I know it's cold. This is what I want to do though. I can't believe this. Look. The water. It's probably so cold. Oh, and the water's not even cold.
In one of her comments she said, "Only in my dreams did I ever think that I'd be getting married in a beautiful mansion to the most kind, gentle, dedicated, and loving man that I would ever meet," she wrote on Facebook last month. When they say dreams come true, please believe them. After the pair got engaged in May of 2021, she went on to say this. She said, 13 months until my wedding and I don't know where to start, how to start, what to wear. How to look woman face palming medium skin tone. At least one of the biggest stressors is handled. The venue is paid in full and locked in, so there will be a wedding August 27th, 22. Hopefully I'll have a dress though. She was a happy person in general. She even tried to encourage her friend to do good with food.
Y'all need to start eating more avocado, watermelon, spinach and kale, more vegetables and fruit. Add that into your diet. And you probably won't look like a cracked face, dry face, stressed out individual.
She even tried to give encouraging words during the pandemic.
Everybody to agree right now. God, we pray for destruction of this virus. We pray for healing for all.
Now, those two women's stories, that's just the tip of the iceberg, as we know what happens to black women in our communities. And I'm not even going to begin to include the atrocities and the sexual assaults that happen to our little girls in this video, because it is completely tasteless. However, I want y'all to really stop running from the truth, okay? And understand that there is no glory or no benefit in anyone on YouTube trying to tell you to get into a relationship, period. You need to first work on you. Work on you. Get what you want out of life. Become whoever it is you want to be. Get what you need in life so you don't have to get your ass beat or get damn near killed listening to people like Shira or others on here, Tanya, whoever, trying to tell you that a relationship can eventually garner things for you that you can't give yourself. It is not true. You do not live in a society where the majority of males or men, black males in particular, feel like they need to go out of their way to cater to or wine and dine black women. That is not what they believe. And you don't have to take my word for it. All you got to do is click on any of the Anton Daniels videos or any of the Peef Network and so many other ignorant, ugly, disgusting, demon character or soul like black males on YouTube to see that they have nothing but a level of hatred for black women and little girls that is unbelievable. And black women and little girls need to stay away from them for their own survival. And you need to stop listening to all these women on YouTube that are trying to get you to always have every conversation you're involved with be centered around black males instead of centered around black women. And for those of you in the back that are gonna tell me silly shit like, oh, that's what Princella is doing, that is not what she's doing. And because you want to believe in something, you don't see what it's doing actually. What she's doing is modern day 2003 pimping online. She's giving you a little bit of truth, something for you to convince yourself is correct, something for you to believe in, while she is manipulating you and dragging you along so that you continue to, as she say, pay for her work, pay for her time, and, you know, make you feel guilty or shame you into believing that you shouldn't have a problem with not giving her money for whatever she's producing on YouTube. But my personal opinion is you shouldn't be paying anyone on YouTube, not a black woman and not a black male. Because if they get enough views, YouTube is going to pay them, okay? And if these people cannot find a gainful job or gainful employment, how is that your responsibility to take care of them? Because they come online and talk circles around your intelligence and convince you that something is in actuality when it's not. You have got to turn the page on this silly shit on YouTube. Turn the page and move on. Show the world that black women are way more complicated and way more focused on our political advancements and achievements, our financial security, our housing security, our ability to have stronger, safer communities for our children, that we as black women create. We as black women who collectively come together with like-minded other black women to get the job done, because we know everybody outside of us trying to do the positive things for one another, they are against us. And that also includes other black women. Divested women that sound like divested salad, and anyone else who is so extreme and does nothing but spew hatred towards black women. We don't need that. We need tenderness. We need somebody to come along and understand that there are times when you need somebody's shoulder to rest your head on while you continue down your journey. And you pick up your armor once again to fight and navigate your way through this world. There's not a goddamn thing wrong with being a strong black woman when you're doing it solely for yourself. Solely for yourself. Stop letting all these people play semantics and head games with you, convincing you that you're weak. You're not anywhere close to being weak, okay? Because if you were, we would have been extinct a long time ago.
If all black women started a self-love journey, we could heal generations. Black women, did you know you can heal? Did you know you can feel? Did you know you can cry and completely surrender to the tears that are falling out of your eyes? Did you know that the trauma and pain that you've experienced isn't essentially normal? It's just been normalized. Did you know you don't always have to be strong, push through and carry on, but most importantly, did you know that you are not alone? Because I didn't. I didn't know it was okay to not be okay. I didn't know I can cry and be vulnerable, and neither of them makes me weak. I didn't know I didn't have to always have it together. I didn't always have to have my life together, know what I was doing. I didn't know I can go to church and therapy at the same time. I worried that if I did this, that the strong black woman trophy would be taken away from me. But does it even belong to me? See, I didn't know that the strong black woman is the healed black woman, but I do now. Growing up, I looked up to the women in my family. They were like superheroes to me. They were beautiful, independent, and strong. When I grew up, I wanted to be just like them. I wanted to be a strong black woman. The whole idea of the strong black woman seemed like a character in a folk tale to me. She was the unspoken rule, the requirement, the expectation. She wasn't personified just into one woman. She seemed all too familiar to me, almost as if she was family. Her mannerisms echoed the pain and trauma of her ancestors, and her self-silencing behavior became almost second nature to me. The ways of a strong black woman was never directly taught to me. It was shown to me through the behavior and actions of my mothers, grandmothers, and family. The strong black woman trope hurts black women more than it helps them. It tells them that they should be strong and resilient, but doesn't allow them to engage in the behaviors needed to preserve their strength and resilience. If all black women started a self-love journey, we could heal generations. You may be thinking to yourself, how can something so simple as self-love have the potential to heal black women and possibly even their culture? Well, the answer to that actually lies within the definition itself. Dr. Autumn Griffin defined self-love as the will to protect, nurture, preserve, and celebrate one's emotional, physical, spiritual, and mental health. Self-love goes against all that the strong black woman is supposed to be. Where the strong black woman trope says to be selfless, self-love says to be selfish. Where the strong black woman trope says show no emotion, Self-love says, explore them. And where the strong Black woman trope says, we don't have time for mental health, self-love says, make time. Self-love follows the hierarchy of cognition. Reconstructing our thoughts will then influence the way that we feel, which will then influence the way that we behave. And eventually, that will change the way that we treat ourselves. For Black women, this is essentially simple. Because the only thing that the strong Black woman is allowed to be is strong. She's expected to push things under the rug, hide her trauma, suffer in silence. So this isn't simple. There's so much that we have to learn and so much more that we have to unlearn. But lucky for us, self-love is a skill. And with enough practice, it can become a learned behavior. And if mastered, it could be the one missing preventative measure to fight against common mental health issues within the Black community. No longer do we need to suffer in silence with our mental health and traumas. We can begin to heal them. Self-love teaches us how to protect our mental health. It also teaches us how to preserve it. Imagine if we all did this. Imagine the change it will cause. Self-love has the power to change our culture. Because as our daughters watch us learn how to heal, they will learn as well. And eventually, it will be normalized as it is repeated into our culture. Because what is culture if not behaviors passed down from generation to generation? It will be passed down from her daughters to her daughters' daughters to her sisters to her grandmas until it is eventually taken and adopted as culture the same way the strong Black woman trope that silenced us for years has. We could finally fight against the common mental health issues that Black women face by healing the trauma that has been silenced by the strong Black woman trope. It's almost as if every time I try to be anything but resilient, I hear the strong Black woman, almost like an elder, whispering to me, if I can make it through slavery, then you can make it through anything. So hush it up, suck it up, push through, pull it together. People are depending on you. Carry on. I listen as she silences and invalidates me. If all Black women started a self-love journey, we could heal generations. I would like to share with you my journey. But first, hi, my name is Denise. I am the founder and CEO of the Self-Love Organization, a wellness club for women of color to prioritize self-love and mental health, to finally end the cycle of transgenerational trauma. I have been on my self-love journey for 10 years, but my story starts at age 9. I'm at my grandmother's house. All the lights are off downstairs except for one ambered light. We're all in the living room, and in that room stands my mother, father, grandparents, and me. And for a reason I am way too young to understand, everyone is screaming. Everyone is upset. Jamaican patois is being flown around the room at a speed that I cannot comprehend. I try to keep up, looking left and right. My head begins to feel like it's spinning. My heart is pounding. My palms are sweaty. I feel weak and tense all at the same time. Their thoughts are echoing in my mind. I close my eyes. And by the time I can open it, I've ran into the bathroom, sitting on the bathroom floor, next to the cold sink. The draft from underneath the door is brushing against my bare feet, and tears are running down my nightgown, and my hands are over my ears. And all I remember is myself repeating and asking myself, what did I do wrong? What could I have possibly done? The funny part is, I'm pretty sure it had nothing to do with me. But that overwhelming feeling was there. And it was in that moment that my self-silencing behaviors began. In that moment, a 9-year-old crying, clearly and distressed girl decided to be a strong Black woman. I've never seen any of the women in my family cry. No one has ever acted like this before. Something must be wrong with me. So that's what I did. As I started to hear the footsteps of my family coming towards the bathroom door, I quickly wiped off my tears and dried my eyes. And when the door opened, I put on a show. "Denise, are you okay?" they asked. I replied, "You guys were just being too loud." I lied. I knew something was off. I knew something was wrong, but I never brought it up again, and neither did they. It just got pushed underneath the rug. Fast forward, I'm in my prime years of 18. And I just decided to start my self-love journey. Now, this was 10 years ago. I thought self-love was what the media portrayed it to be. Fancy robes, face mask, maybe painting my nails and toes. I was sitting in my favorite class as a freshman at the City College of New York, Intro to Psychology. And as I'm taking my notes and I'm looking up and down at the board, I looked up for the next slide, and at the top, written in bold, big font, it read, anxiety. And as my professor began to explain and share with us the symptoms of this disorder, I started to feel a pit in my stomach, a hole in my chest. I started to sink inside of my seat, and I felt like everyone was looking at me. He had to have been talking about me. And in that moment, I realized all of 3 things. 1, when I ran into that bathroom at 9 years old, 9-year-old Denise was having an anxiety attack. Actually, I have been suffering from anxiety this whole time. And I never knew it because I continuously decided to push it under the rug, silence myself, just so that I can hold that strong Black woman trophy. That overwhelming feeling continued to visit me, but I never addressed it. 2, I realized that if I experienced this at 9, and I'm now figuring about it now, how many more things have I silenced, and for how long? 3, I realized that whatever I've been doing on my self-love journey with these fancy masks and robes isn't working. And if I wanted to see real change, that hierarchy of self-love, change in my behavior, changing my feelings, changing my thoughts, I had to do the external. I had to leave the external work and do the internal work. There was a crying young 9-year-old Black child hidden inside a bathroom for years, trying to tell me something was wrong, but I continuously decided to push her away so that I can push through, carry on, pull it together. It was in that moment that I realized the gap in between self-love and mental health. The two seems to be 2 separate journeys, but they actually are the same. They hold the same weight. Each one reflects the other. It was in this moment that I realized that if I needed to actually heal, I had to do the work. And to do the work meant that maybe it was time for me to start to look into my emotions and learn who they are. And I did this through self-therapy. What lies in between self-love and mental health is self-therapy. And it is in that space that you begin to form healthy relationships with your emotions to actually start speaking to that crying inner child. To learn, who is this anxiety? Why is she here? What does she need? And how can I help her? It was in that moment I realized that this whole time I have been coping and not healing. Black women could use self-love to help themselves heal through self-therapy. By studying themselves, questioning themselves, and becoming so aware of themselves that when anxiety comes to visit, they know who she is. They know what she needs. They know how to heal her. I was able to use this method of self-love to self-therapy to reach mental health. Starting a self-love journey is the Black woman's pathway to mental health. And honestly, after doing this journey for all of 10 years, I feel stronger than ever. Self-love is healing, and there is power in healing. There is strength in healing. And I'm happy I know something today that I didn't know before. That the strong Black woman is the healed Black woman. If all women started a self-love journey, we could heal generations. Thank you.
The change is all up to you, Black women. It's all up to you and how you conduct yourself and what you do in time to come. We're on this platform talking about people trying to take over our identity, us having problems with other women, the men y'all like to focus on, and all that starts with you. You, I have said many times before, once you take control of the power you have in your spending, in where you put your attention, you decide how things change. These panels that are on YouTube that go out of their way to disrespect Black women and talk about our inhumanity and how we're less of a woman than others, stop going to those channels. Stop giving those guys money. The Black women who are on those channels, go and literally harass them. Tear down their channels to let them know and literally tell them, we will attack you for going on with these Black males and continuing the dehumanization and the tearing down rhetoric of our reputation. Stay off their channels if you want to have a channel of your own, or we will come after you. Do that. You have to defend your reputation. You have to change and be responsible for the changing of the lives of all the women and little girls in your community. You have to stop worrying about whether you're cuter than this one or who does he want to like better than me. You have the power to change all of that. If you, Black woman, do not give two fucks about a Black male, no other woman does. If you do not buy Cardi B's music, you do not go to her busted ass husband's concerts and pay for anything he streams, they are broke. They have no lives. If you stand up and say in mass numbers, she is not a Black woman, she does not represent us, the low, disgusting, gross portrayal that she has as her image does not reflect on us, we rebuke that shit. It will stop. All the other women that come on and try to make fun or take from, if you dead it, and I mean dead it, like you just say to each other, fuck that, we're not participating in that, and we will not purchase that shit, and we will not have anything to do with it. As a matter of fact, everything in our life, we will continue to do what the TikTok trend started, which is to support only other Black women by Black women. That means that excludes every other woman and Black males, so that we have a political base and a voice in society to make demands from. You must learn to become more politically, socially militant to make change in this world. These platforms on YouTube, as RWS hashtag exposed said earlier in this video, they shadow ban people like me. They promote idiots like Princella and Cynthia G, Shira, Tanya, whoever, because They're selling you fluff and bullshit. They're not sitting down talking to you about, listen, if you want things in your community to change, number one, you have to start studying on the candidates and the incumbents in your neighborhood, in your district. How have they voted on things that affect you every day of your life? When it comes to the local and presidential elections, vote for the person who is talking about things you need. If they are not, don't vote for any of them. Write in the candidate on your ballot. Organize groups of women in your community, outside of your community, within your state, another state, through churches, through community associations, through programs you belong to, fraternities you belong to make it known that Black women's voices will be heard and our needs will be met. We will not sit here and live in poverty and have child after unwanted child, unwanted marriage or relationship or situational ship that we don't want, that ends in us being literally beat down, financially destroyed, and having our lives taken from us. We will no longer tolerate that. What you need to do now is to wake up tomorrow and journal your way every day to a new life for yourself. And if you don't know how to do it, ask the questions of other women in real professions, not people on the YouTube. Sit down on your computer, Google things out. Or you may look for one person on YouTube. Remember the Black woman hit the reset on the Black Women's March that Rosa Last gave last year that I attended? She is a Black woman that can help you figure out all those things on your journey. Okay? You have got to turn the page on conversations about Keke Palmer disrespecting guys when you're in relationships with them, because that shit is not important. You and how you take care of yourself, what you will and will not allow in your life, is important. That superficial, silly shit that goes on with aesthetics, how you look and how somebody else thinks you look, not important. Where you live, how you live, how much money you have, your abilities in life, that is important. Make that your priority. Please.
She ever get clowned by Russell, she'll be the biggest clown of all time. And the niggas gonna love it. They gonna fucking roast her bitch ass for years. Yeah, y'all black bitches, y'all thought Russell was the shit. Y'all thought that was, yeah, she on the come up, she got a good man. Ha ha, bitch got played. Y'all know what the fuck is coming. Why would y'all stupid ass bitches set yourselves up? Why y'all always setting yourselves up for failure? You black banjies are always doing this. Y'all never know when to shut the fuck up. That's why I don't trust no Banji. Anytime I see an ashy ass Banji out with her fucking man, girl, bye. Get the fuck out my face. You probably fighting tooth and nail for a fucker that's supposed to be with you. Get out of my face, bitch. I don't care about your life and your little whack ass. I don't care about nothing that goes on with Banjis at all. I think they're a fucking joke and a laughing stock across the globe. That's really what I feel like. Most of y'all bitches don't think like you're not, you don't think ahead. You know what I'm saying? You don't think ahead of time to try to stop bullshit from happening. Y'all ain't playing chess real good. Y'all just playing fucking checkers and keep getting got by these bitch ass niggas and then try to act like you tough. Just like this croissant bitch. Bitch, you ain't tough, you toothless ass bitch. The fuck wrong with you? You a punk ass, weak ass bitch. Only way you fucking tough and hard is when you got out of some shit and you ain't got no baggage. Like, yeah, you did this, that. I don't give a fuck. I planned ahead, bitch. I already knew you was gonna do this shit. Fuck you, get the hell out. I got my money though, bitch. And I been stacking my fucking bread. I got about 5 bank accounts with your money, you stupid ass motherfucker. Do whatever the fuck you gonna do. You gave me my money, so bye. If you can say some shit like that, then okay, you a G ass bitch. You a thug hoe. But if you ain't, no shit like that, bitch, you a clown. You're always gonna be a fucking clown. You're not tough or nothing. And a bitch like me will beat your ass. Real talk. I'll knock the fuck out your ass. You not tough, bitch. If a nigga can beat your ass, I know I can. Cause a nigga ain't gonna do shit to me. The fuck? So that's how I be feeling. These Banjis don't like women. These Banjis don't like shit. They worship the Negro. Don't y'all see that? They won't move on with their fucked up lives. They won't move on. They keep talking about Negroes this, Negroes that. Every celebrity that they're interested in, they always talk about they Negroes. Like, that'd be the whole reason why they obsessed with that celebrity. Like Cardi B. Only reason why people give a fuck about Cardi B is because of Offset clowning her ass every 5 minutes. Y'all know it's the truth. If she wasn't with Offset, nobody would give a fuck about her. If she was with a damn man of her own race in a perfect, seemingly perfect looking relationship, nobody would give a fuck about her. And that goes for the rest of them irrelevant ass bitches. That's why they get with Negroes and let Negroes clown the fuck out their ass, simply to stay in the blogs and have black women talking about their fucking pitiful ass. Y'all know what they be doing that for. That's why the Banji is a fucking problem. I told you. She's an obsessed ass bitch. She's really obsessed with niggas on a whole nother level. Everything that niggas are attached to is she's obsessed with. Like, why? Why, bitch? That's the whole reason why Sierra getting clout right now. Because Banjis are obsessed with Future. Everything she does, Future is brought up. Fucking thirsty ass, fucking Banji assholes. Yeah, that's why they follow Jeannie Mai. Jeannie Mai knew what the fuck she was doing. That girl, all of them know what they doing. They like, okay, Negro is a come up, period. Like, even if the fuck I don't really get a lot of money from this ashy trash, it won't even matter. The Banji's gonna make sure I'm relevant and I'm talked about, relevant, get some kind of clout. So just me attaching myself to this ashy filth, I'm gonna have immediate attention and get clout. So I'm on the come up regardless. That's why they don't be giving a fuck about y'all talking shit, saying that they these preferences are getting clowned, and they kind of care, but they kind of don't, because it was a come up, period. Even if, you know what I'm saying, the Negro try to play them, because after all, they get pregnant by niggas as celebrities. They getting a real big portion out of that check that them niggas is making. So that's still a come up regardless to if I get played or not, or if you fuck another woman or not. It don't matter. Like, bitch, I'm getting a huge chunk of money. What you getting? You ain't getting shit. So you just running your fucking mouth. That's why I said, if we collectively don't give birth and fuck the whole game up, then ain't nobody laughing, ain't running their mouth no more. Now shit ain't funny no more. Now shit getting real serious now. Bitch, yeah, because you wanted to open your fucking man. You think it's a competition, bitch? It's not really. It's not really, bitch. We can shut them fuckers down too. Like your man, bitch. We can shut him down by just not going to his concerts and not giving him no fucking money and saying he an old, nasty ass, washed up ass fucking joke. Okay? You can do that while they're young. You gotta do that when they first career start out. Like the baby or somebody. You can't do that with them old nigga dogs, because they got investment. They probably, into other shit, making money. So you can't really fuck with them economically, You can definitely fuck up their money a little bit by not giving them no clout. But ultimately, they might have other ventures going on. But a fuck nigga that just started out, yeah, you can definitely fuck him up. That's how you get the preference. You really want to get them bitches, that's how you get them. You shut any nigga down from even having shit. Don't give them no clout, no attention. We don't even fuck with niggas. We don't give them money. We don't care about them. They're not getting shit up off of us. So then that bitch won't benefit. That's how you get them. But shit talking that ain't how you do it. Hell yeah, just cancel the motherfuckers in the very beginning. You're ugly. Oh, you're lame. Or you said some lame shit. Done. Finished. Through. Y'all can do just like this generation don't give a fuck about shit. They don't care about quality music or quality nothing. They dance moves is weird. They used to be doing fast ass shit that don't make no. I mean, this generation is just fucking weird when it comes to everything. But they could be just as weird by just canceling people, really like seriously canceling them over the stupidest shit, and really mean it. Not fake cancel, but cancel. So motherfuckers can't even get into the door. It's like, damn, these bitches serious. They really canceling us for no reason. Oh, you lame. We don't fuck with you, nigga. We ain't going to buy your shit, nigga. We don't care. Do that shit. I've been waiting for a decade where, a generation was gonna start doing shit like that, like canceling people because they just don't care anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's not worth your money, your energy. You just don't give a fuck. Should have been did that. Fuck these niggas money up. Don't give him no money, no clout. Bitch, you ain't getting shit, you raggedy ass bitch. And then we'll see how fucking arrogant they are and see how smart their mouth is then. Like, nigga, shut the fuck up. Like, you can shut them podcast niggas down if you just don't watch their content. And then fucking, like, go on, like, all of the black bangy bitches that keep going on their podcast trying to embarrass us. Y'all can just flood they fucking Instagram and fucking degrade the fucking, like, harass them off of the internet. And get them the fuck off. Just harass them until they shut their damn social media pages down, and then they'll stop going on there for because they scared of getting fucked up, or they scared of people shutting their Instagram. Like spam, they do that Bayhive shit. Do that shit with them bitches that go on them damn podcasts. They should have been had a pack of ass bitches to come after them for doing that, because they just trying to troll us with going on there getting their asses clown. So if that's a stupid monkey ass bitch that want to do some clownery fuckery like that just to troll other black women, then she needs to get canceled. Why would y'all care about that stupid ass bitch? Why would y'all try to respect her on any kind of level? She don't need no respect. She don't need no protection. No, clown that fucking bitch. Clown her dirty ass. Fuck her shit up. She a stupid ass bitch. Should have never went on there. That's what y'all should have been doing. Y'all should have been did that. You could have been shut these bitches down for going on those podcasts and let them fuck niggas know, bitch, you not having no podcast, or if you gonna have one, you not having no black bitches on there, because we gonna get them fucking hoes when they get off. We gonna get them hoes as soon as that interview is over. We gonna get that fucking bitch. She ain't gonna have shit when we finish with that bitch, because she wasn't gonna have nothing anyway. She a black bitch. Who the fuck care about her? She ain't got no cushion or protection or nothing. Nobody give a fuck about that bitch. If we come after that hoe, it's over for that hoe. She don't have no support. Black bitches don't like you as a black bitch, and they come after you, your career is over. Period. Because who else you got? Who the fuck else can you fall back on? You can't fall back on nobody. Negroes don't fuck with you, that's for sure. The fuck? Ain't nobody else gonna fuck with you. Who else? Who gonna have your back, bitch? Nobody. You come on a damn podcast embarrassing all of us as a collective doing lame shit. Bitch, we coming for you. We gonna fuck your shit up. That's how you get them hoes off. Don't support shit. Completely destroy them. Only thing you gotta do is do that a few times with a few of those fucking bitches, and they'll get the fucking message real loud and clear. I promise you. They'll get the message, oh, this is career suicide. If I go on here, these bitches gonna come for me. I need to not go up here and do this shit, because I need to find something else, some other way to make money and get clout, because doing this shit will destroy me. I'm telling you, we should have been did that. I've been coming up with solutions for a decade now. I've been telling y'all what to do. I said we all need to get together. We need to file a lawsuit against YouTube for slander or harassment or all that type of shit. We should have been as a group, got lawyers, lawyered up, and fucking sued this whole platform for the shit they've been saying and the content they've been putting out, allowed to be put out about black women. We should have did that first and foremost. Then we should have copyrighted our shit, trademarked our shit, so can't other races of bitches couldn't come in and steal our stuff, especially on TikTok. That TikTok was a branch from YouTube, because they was doing that first on YouTube, stealing our stuff. And then when it became an issue and they started getting flagged, or it became an issue doing that, they created TikTok so people could just literally easily steal black people's shit without, you know what I'm saying, being
Okay,
penalized.
now's the part where I want to get political and show you this asshole who's running for president. I want you to keep in mind, right, that he is like the king of the manosphere. This man has talking points of welfare took the black man out of the home, and he is not at any time trying to factor in the fact that these men are responsible for themselves as grown men, okay? They need to deal with their lack of emotional intelligence and serious lack of impulse control and maturity. Please keep in mind, while you're listening to this black coon who wants to run for president, listen to the fact that he willingly and adamantly omits black women and little girls from every and anything he's talking about. His sole focus is only on black male boys and men, and constantly trying to repeat the fact that they are victims without any contribution to the way they choose to live their lives. But before I show you him, I want to show you what I was talking about in the beginning of this video, that there are idiotic black women who are very stupid, who do not know anything really about politics, trying to guide you as to how to vote. Please stop listening to these women.
My neighbors are staying beautiful and wonderful to you and figuring it out while we all trying to figure it out. But the Breakfast Club, they interviewed a man named Larry Elder. I had never heard of him before, but he's definitely laced with facts and information about black people, the black home, and the fatherless epidemic or pandemic or whatever we're calling these things in the black community, because we are seeing that this gender war or this relationship advice or all this stuff that black people are talking about online, that black women are crying out and talking more about fatherless homes. And as we saw on the Breakfast Club with Charlamagne the God, they have a new girl. They refer to her as Tess. I'm not sure what her whole name is. I'm not an avid Breakfast Club watcher. Not really my forte. But I will note that Larry Elder going on there was good promotion because black people watch the Breakfast Club. But it also made me feel like they might need to stick to rappers and R&B artists because this man slaughtered them, basically showed how uneducated they are, how emotionally charged they are, how I was embarrassed as a black woman because there was a black woman there, Miss Tess, and it was clear that she was not understanding anything. Her and Charlamagne both said throughout the interview, oh, we're not picking a side, we're not on any side, I'm an independent. But it did not seem that way. But anyway, let's get into these note cards. Larry Elder talked about fatherless homes, smash and grabs, and how he do not believe in the system of racism. And to see a black man saying that, I can see how that can be confrontational to other black people, because often black men use the system as to why they're not in the homes, which he spoke about that, saying that Lyndon B. Johnson enacted the program where men weren't in a home because of welfare, and we joke about that all the time. Nikes took black men out the home, Philly Blunts took black men out the home. Mr. Elder sound like he kind of agreed with that in a way. But he talked about the smash and grabs and how those are black people. He talked about he don't believe in systematic racism because there are so many black CEOs of Fortune 500.
Obviously. So the question is, what do you bring to the table?
You said MAGA.
MAGA.
Okay.
And the answer is, I bring a lot of issues to the table that I feel our side is not talking enough about, if at all. For example, the number one social problem in America, by far, is the epidemic not of COVID, but of fatherlessness. 70% of black kids today enter the world without a father in the home, married to the mother, up from 25% back in 1965. Now 25% of white kids enter the world today without a father in the home, married to the mother. And the stats are clear. Even Barack Obama once cited them. If you're raised without a dad, you're 5 times more likely to be poor and commit crime, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, and 20 times more likely to end up in jail. What's happened? In the mid-'60s, with I think the best of intentions, a Democrat named Lyndon Johnson launched what he called the War on Poverty. And since then, we have incentivized women to marry the government and incentivize men to abandon their financial and moral responsibility. You know, when I say this to people, the pushback I get is, well, there are lots of things that are going on, systemic racism, poverty. Here's the problem. If you look at a young black male aged 10 to 43, that's young to me because I'm 71 years old. A young black man in that demo is 13 times more likely to be murdered than a young white man, same demo. Young black man, real young, 19 and under, the number one cause of preventable death is homicide, almost always at the hands of another young black male. Same demo for whites, the number one cause of preventable death is unintentional deaths. That includes drug overdoses, automobile accidents, drownings. It's not until they get to number 4 that death is the cause. In America, 60% of the shootings, the robberies, and the homicides are committed by black people, often against other black people. Of the homicides in this country, half of them are black victims, almost all killed by other blacks. How do you explain that if it isn't for the absence of fathers? Are you prepared to say black people are just genetically inclined to commit more crime? I doubt it. And the go-to reaction often is poverty and systemic racism. Here's the problem. 1940, when there was blatant racism, this is before Brown versus Board of Education, before the Civil Rights Act of '64, KKK was still alive and well, 87% of blacks lived under the poverty line. Now it's about 14%. You can't blame it on poverty. You can't blame it on racism. It is the breakdown of the nuclear intact family, and neither side is talking about it. The left doesn't talk about it because they caused it with the welfare state, and our side does not talk about it because if you're white, you'll be accused of dissing single moms who are heroically raising these kids, or you'll be accused of being a racist, or if you're black, you'll be accused, as I was by the LA Times, of being the black face of white supremacy. Nobody's talking about that. I am.
What are the reasons, if your statistics are right, what are the reasons that you think fathers aren't in the home?
As I said, it's because in the mid-'60s, Lyndon Johnson launched what he called the War on Poverty. In Charlemagne, literally, they sent social workers door to door in the inner city. I remember this, advising women of the availability of welfare provided there was no man in the house. It created an economic incentive for women to marry the government. Same thing with whites. In 1965, 8% of whites entered the world without a father in the home, married to the mother. Now it's about 25%, also up threefold. Look at census data, 1910, 1920, 1930, in places like Milwaukee, Chicago, Philadelphia, a young black kid was slightly more likely to be brought into a world with a father in the home married to the mother than a young white kid. We have incentivized this kind of bad behavior, and it's had a disproportionately bad effect on the black community.
Let me ask you a question. What do white people do wrong, Larry Elder?
What do you mean, what do white people do? I'm not worried about white people. I'm worried about what's going on with us.
But if there's systemic racism in this country, which we know it is.
No, I don't say there is. You say there is. I don't believe that.
Oh, you don't believe there's
No, there
racism?
used to be, obviously. Tell me what you think the number one systemic example of systemic racism is in America.
Oh, man, there's so many.
Just give me the most important one you think.
But at the top of mind, I'd probably maybe say mass incarceration. Maybe.
Really? During the Great Depression, when 50% of black adults were unemployed, you didn't have this kind of mass incarceration. It's the breakdown of the family.
I'm not going to. I agree with the family part. I'm a black man who is a father to his children, and I'm a happily married black man to a black woman. So I'm never going to argue with that part, But I just feel like everything is black with you. Black is wrong. Black people do this and black people do that. And when I asked you what white people do wrong, you said you're not worried about white people at all.
I'm talking about the damage, disproportionate damage going on in the black community. For example, look at these smash and grabs that are taking place in Los Angeles where I live. There's a suburb called Glendale where at a mall recently, a mob of 30 to 40 people, they had masks on, but one guy got popped.
I'm going to continue his interview. I just had to stop because I had to, do my commentary. But notice that, again, he's not one time mentioning anything positive about black women, nor is he speaking out about the factual events of real life. He's using nostalgic talking points to stoke the emotions of people to make it seem like the independent woman is the problem. She's not the problem. He is a Republican. If his party has his way, they want to do a blanketed nationwide ban on abortion and abortion rights, abortion pills, everything that has to do with the freedom, otherwise known as autonomy of women. And the reason they want to do this is because of the fact that if this is not known to you, there is a huge movement in this entire world, not just America, where women are very tired of being some ugly nigga's wife, like this motherfucker running for president, some disgusting motherfucker that you walk past in the street, or even some beautiful motherfucker you know, who wants to just be the most strictest, staunchest misogynist in the world, who feels like women are only supposed to be for fucking, having babies, and being told what the fuck to do by stink, disgusting, I can't stand them fucking males, okay? This motherfucker that just spoke, this Larry piece of shit, he went on to say that he blamed the president for these irresponsible black males not being responsible for their wives and children. This is important because this speaks to this nasty, lack of integrity having motherfucker running for president, who's showing you just how full of shit and a piece of shit he is, so that you realize this before you go to the polls, right? He is showing you that he is blatantly and willfully disregarding all the real facts of life. He's distorting history, because President Johnson, who happens to be a president that I speak about a lot, whenever anyone says name a president who has ever done anything for black people, there you go. This man is the man that made it possible, outside of President Roosevelt, right, who came up with the good deal, with the New Deal, to have today what you have, Social Security, welfare, etc. Roosevelt did that. Then later on, Johnson came along and he decided to say, black people are really falling behind whites. Let's do something about that. In addition to him doing that, he started the first beginnings of that idiot fucking Moynihan report that you guys like to talk about, that you think Cynthia got right when she did not. The whole point of the Moynihan report, and what Lyndon B. Johnson was doing to assist black people, was to catch black people up as much as he could with the wealth of white people. And he did. He gave black women the welfare programs to not only take care of their children when they were home, but he provided black males as well, who were widowed or who had children by themselves who were on welfare, to stay at home with their children and to have babysitters come into the home, or to have people take their children to babysitters, which we know today throughout America as the child care program, right? In order for your children to be cared for, so that you could either go out and seek employment or go out and pursue your educational desires, right? So these are the things that Lyndon B. Johnson did for black women. And I'm only talking about black women because all these people on here always want to circle around and omit black women and only talk about useless. I have never done shit for myself or my community, my women or children, black males. So during those times when Johnson was in office, not only did he tweak and increase and improve the welfare system that Clinton later came along and disabled, which is the welfare system we have today, right? President Johnson made it where black women could go to college. This is something that is seriously unprecedented, because understand, all of the history before, when black women went to college, they did it on their own merit. There were no real programs that literally paid for you to go to college, to learn, to excel, to join the different branches of government within this country until this president. So even though you had people that went above and beyond the expectation of the low expectation society has for African American women, here this president came along and said, we won't just let a token few, but we want the majority of them to go to school, do what's right, and get their lives together. And we did. Many of the black women that became your congressperson, your senator, your, I don't know, your council person, your whomever in your state, governor, mayor, whatever, that was because of all of the programs created and put into play by Lyndon B. Johnson. The fact that black women on welfare in every state in this country could be on welfare and get a fucking master's degree was because of President Johnson, who tweaked all of the Department of Social Services programs initiated originally by President Roosevelt. Okay? FDR. So when you have this black man coming up here lying about history, he is literally showing you, sitting in that chair, that he is this deceitful, lying piece of shit that does not have your best interest in mind. This is a man that is totally out to be the white man that most black men want to be and make the money that he can, but also have the power to crush the freedom of especially black women and every other woman. That's all he's concerned with. Because when you listen to him talk, all he's talking about is this imaginary fucking situation that these emasculated black males in this society have with their imaginary monster, which is the black woman, who has taken their manhood from them, because we decide that we have a right to our own freedom, our own safety, security, and pleasure and desire in this world, and we do not want to have a master. And in this country and many others, when you take a husband, you are supposed to be subjected, or their favorite word, submitting to the submission of being ruled over by a man that is not your superior. That you are supposed to live your every life day for taking care of him and only him and whatever children you have, and fuck you. Your wants, your needs, and what you want to do in life is not important as long as you are fucking, satisfying, and reproducing children for what this motherfucker wants and nothing you want. This is where all these ignorant pieces of shit are coming from and what the Republican Party is pushing. And it has become such a problem in this world today that you actually have women movements all over this world saying, no, fuck you. I do not want to be your wife. I do not want to have your children. I don't want you lording over me. I want to live freely in this fucking world and do what I want, when I want, however the fuck I want. And I don't want you or nobody else telling me what I can and cannot fucking do with my body. Fuck you. That is the argument that's on this table right now. So do not be hoodwinked like the silly bitch I showed you before him, this nosy neighbor lady who felt like this man actually had something prominent to say. He does not. He is a manifestation of all the evil and the hate that black males have for black women come to life trying to run this country. I know he's not going to win, but it's the fact that the audacity of this motherfucker to get up and never once in all his spiel of talking about how fucked up black people are, actually he's really talking about black males, right? He never once speaks about the contributions or all of the many progressions and huge strides black women and black girls have made. See, because that's not important to him. All he wants to do is make it seem like if the black male is not strong and where he's supposed to be in society, then all of society is fucked up. No, that's not true. Not at all. And just to put a disclaimer out there to all men, please don't fuck with women. We have no tolerance for motherfuckers that are trying to force us to do anything. We will not give one fucking inch. Know that. And if you keep fucking around with us, we will turn this world into a motherfucking memory. We will stop having children. We will stop marrying. We will stop dating. We will stop fucking with you, period. And when you get to the point where you think you're going to strong arm us into fucking us or making us do something, we will not only kill you, but we will kill ourselves as well. To stand and let you know, when we say no, motherfucker, we mean no. And I say that collectively for all the women all over the world, because for you black women out there who have just seen what I said, heard or seen what I just said, this is what's happening all over the world that the news is not giving you privy to. There are women in Korea There are women in China, Japan, Africa, India, everywhere you can think of, that are not only killing themselves, but killing men too, who have tried to rape them, tried to force them into so-called womanhood and motherhood. They're not fucking playing. Neither am I, and neither is any other black woman or any other woman in America who says, fuck you with that modern day slavery shit where I'm supposed to be tethered to you to feed you, fuck you, and birth your children on command. Fuck you. I have value too. I am a human being in this life, and I am not here to serve you. Not at all. That is what women think and who we are today, and who we will continue to evolve into being a better version of as every day goes by. Now, it is really crazy that this black man, like I said, he doesn't talk about anything concerning black women or women in general. He's not talking about the fact that his party wants to make it almost impossible for black women and other women to divorce their husbands when they don't want to fucking be married anymore. Now, what makes these people think that individuals are actually going to comply with this bullshit? Like, they really don't understand women. Because, like, if it doesn't fucking matter. I could be married to 20 men. If I decide tomorrow I'm done being married, I'm going to get up, pack my things, or leave with the clothes on my back and never come back. You or no one else is going to force me back into that household. Period. And if you try to stop me physically, then I will be, reduced to having to defend myself, which may very well mean that I take your life from you that very day. This is how serious women are, and these motherfuckers better understand it, because it's only going to get worse. They have spent centuries ruling over women. As you heard earlier in this clip of the black woman who called into Cerebro's idiotic show, and she explained that this is something that had been indoctrinated into women, that we're supposed to use our God-given life to serve and be the servant of some guy. No, you're not. Fuck the Bible, fuck all religion and everything that says you must be a servant to anyone, because those motherfuckers are not living up to anything that is religious, so-called God ordained, or just the right fucking thing to do. So why the fuck are they expecting us to do that? Back to this ignorant motherfucker's interview.
I think most of those who were doing this were black. And in recent years and times, there have been a number of these in places like Chicago, places like New York. If I were involved in something like that, Charlamagne, I grew up with a dad, just as you're raising your own children. I would have been more afraid of my father than I would about the cops catching me. These kids are afraid of neither. They don't have a father in the home. Cops are demoralized. They're pulling back. Their manpower is short. And as a result, you tell a bad guy you're less likely to be caught, convicted, incarcerated, crime goes up. They may be criminals, but they're not stupid. Mm-hmm. When you say, what do white people do? I mean, this is a country that has struggled mightily to get over its historic racism. There was a civil war. There was a big civil rights movement. This is the only majority white country that's ever elected a black president, let alone reelected a black president. The three biggest cities in America are New York, Chicago, L.A. They all have black mayors, even though no city has a majority of black population. The president of Harvard is a black female. Martin Luther King in 1966, Charlamagne, gave an interview to the BBC. This is 2 years after the Civil Rights Act of 64 got passed. And he said, I'm amazed at how many positive changes there have been in America in the last 2 years. Why, if things keep going like this, we could have a black president in about 40 years' time. Mm-hmm. Do the math. Right on cue, Barack Obama, elected 2008. He didn't say there'll be a black female president of Harvard, and there has been. He didn't say there are going to be black CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, and there have been several. He didn't say the percentage of the House would equal the percentage of black people in the population, and it does. He didn't say the three largest cities would have black mayors, and they do. He didn't say the largest and most prestigious organization of doctors, the American Medical Association, would have 2 black presidents, and there have been. He didn't say the most prestigious organization of lawyers, the American Bar Association, would have 2 black presidents, and they have. He said president, meaning at that point, I can feel that I've reached the mountaintop, which is the speech he gave right before he got assassinated the day before. And now we act as if Barack Obama never even got elected. And we're still talking about systemic racism. It's not fair. It's wrong. And you're discouraging black people from working hard. 1990s.
Okay. Mr. Elder, a quick question. Let's just remove the word racism, since that seems to be a word that triggers, a conversation down the water hole. Let's just focus on the word system.
Okay.
You mentioned that the system was the one that discouraged. And again, we have no problem with agreeing that the family, the black family, should certainly has some room for some improvement. But let's just focus on system.
Room for improvement?
System. Well, we're not going to go down that water. We're not going to go down that water hole. Let's get to the question. So the question is, you said that the system encouraged black women to be single mothers, correct?
I said the welfare state, yes.
The welfare, the system. So who's in charge of the system? Who was in charge of the system?
Well, it was Democrats that passed it.
And who were Democrats? Were they black or white at that time?
Well, at the time, majority of black people were Democrats, as the majority of black people are Democrats now.
Not the voters. I'm talking about the system. Remember, the main idea is the word system. Who was in charge of the system at the time? The Democrats at the time, the system. I'm just going to Charlamagne's point about white or black. Was it white Democrats in charge of the system or black Democrats in charge of the system?
Well, if you're prepared to say that Lyndon Johnson did this viciously with an intent to destroy the black family, I disagree. He did it with the best of intentions. And if you look at the New York Times, which is left wing, the Washington Post, which is left wing, they cheered all of this.
Right. And what I'm asking, was it white people? So I'm going to ask again in case my mic's not coming through clearly. Was it white people in charge of the system or black people in charge of that system that helped break down the black family? It's a simple yes, just a simple question, white or black?
Well, you didn't have to go on welfare unless you voluntarily chose to go on welfare. The inducement was put there by Democrats, by the left.
Correct. Okay. Democrats,
most black people were Democrats, and they voted for these white people.
Not
too.
Voters. I said who's in charge of the system.
Well, who put them in charge?
Was Lyndon Johnson white or black?
Who put them in charge?
Maybe that'll help you.
Fine. Lyndon Johnson was white.
Thank you.
Okay. But if your argument is that the reason he did it is because of racism, then I disagree. He did it because of
That's not my argument. I just asked you a simple question. Was he white or black? Charlamagne?
And Mr. Elder, you said you talked about the smash and grabs, right? And I find that interesting because, when you see the mass shootings that happen, majority of those people are white males. What do you think about that?
Actually, if you look at the percentage of whites in America, which is 60%, the percentage of mass shooters is under that. The percentage of people that commit hate crime is under that. The percentage of people who are serial killers is under that. Black people are 13% of the population. We commit a greater percentage compared to that of mass shootings.
You specifically talked about the smash and grabs, though. So I was saying, since you're using that as an example, I'm saying, well, what about the mass shooters that are usually white males?
One more time. They are usually white males because 60% of the country is white. However, they underrepresent in terms of the number of mass shootings. About 50% or so of the mass shootings in this country are committed by white people, even though white people are 60% of the population. They underrepresent.
Okay. I had to interrupt the interview. I'm going to go back to it for just a little bit more. I wanted to make clear what I'm about to say about a few segments in that small part of the interview. The black woman was on point. I want you to understand that because I know you have already seen in this video the take that nosy neighbor lady had, and she had a lot to say further on in the video negatively about the black woman. The black woman was trying to keep that lying motherfucker on point and to have him answer the direct question, okay, asked of him, trying not to let him dodge the question and put in other shit that has nothing to do with what we're talking about or what I asked you. So what he did there was not only did he try to, change the subject, but he also tried to put other things into the conversation that no one was talking about. And this is called redirection. This is what these Republicans do, and people in general who are running for office do, because it speaks to their lack of integrity as a person of good character. This guy is sitting here and talking about all the negative things about black people and refusing to acknowledge that America has a legacy and an actual real functional, working to this day, infrastructural system of racism against black people, both black women and black males. It's called institutionalized racism. We say it every day, in not just the shit Charlamagne said with incarceration, because that mostly affects black males, even though there's an increasing large amount of black women who are also incarcerated. However, we see it every day in the funky fuckery that goes on in employment, how black women are evicted the most throughout the country, not just for rental arrears, but just because people want to evict them throughout America. That is some of the systemic racism we're talking about. We also see it when we're in our offices and we're exposed to white women and their microaggressions and their passive aggressiveness. And we have seen it so much to the point where going to work is such an agonizing, hostile situation that we had a thing of mass resignation. Now, in addition to that, you also can throw in systematic racisms where you look at the redlining of owning property, owning businesses, the educational system where your children get the worst, shittiest supplies, money allotted for educational funding for the year. The teachers ain't shit. The school ain't shit. The principal ain't shit. They always complain, put everything on the parents. The parents live in communities where there's no money poured into the community to do what a community is supposed to do. Those are the type of systematic injustices based off of racism that affect black women every day. Personally, I'll tell you, this is how they affect you every day. You don't realize it, right? I've lived where I live or have owned the apartment for like 22 years. Now I'm trying to buy another one. I've been here for 22 years. They're giving me the hardest time in the world to purchase another unit just because. But there are other people who have been here either longer or shorter than me that have already purchased 2 or 3 different units. This is the type of shit that happens to us as black people in this country. Also, like when you go to school and you're in the classroom, and whether it be college, high school, or grade school, and you're just quiet and you sit there and you do your work and you're very studious and you're into your lesson, when you don't seem to perform enough for white people or any other people of color that have assimilated mentally into the racism of white people's madness and their anti-blackness, that teacher will give you grades that are lower than what you deserve, fuck with you, and make it seem like there's something wrong with you because you're quiet and you're not trying to be a performing clown for them, to make them feel comfortable in the fact that you, as this black person, is now conforming to their opinion of you. So if you're not either being this non-threatening person that makes them feel good about your blackness, or you're not being this fucking clown who's disrespecting yourself by acting inappropriately just to go along to get along, they have an issue with you, and that is anti-blackness. This is all the systematic stuff that's a small portion of what affects black people, and that really exists in this country every fucking day, that this fucking coon is acting like is not the case. And you notice how he keeps trying to go back to everything about negativities about black people. Never anything positive, because there are a lot of positive things about black people, right? Now, smash and grabs and all types of crimes, they come out of necessity. We're living in a time where white people have done away with diversity. They no longer done away with affirmative action. No longer want to hire a black and any other type of person of color if they choose not to. So that will increase crime. The second component to that is when you have these black males that grow up in these ghetto neighborhoods and want to have a ghetto mindset, they never graduate high school. They never further pursue education. They're fucking ignorant, stagnant, and fucked up people in the community. And what they do is socialize other people to be just as fucked up. You don't see this motherfucker talking about that. You don't see him talking about anything but except for wanting to put these dysfunctional motherfuckers into households with children they can impress upon and make them just as fucked up as them. Women that they can overpower, hurt, and kill the way that they're doing right now. The other thing that he did is misleading is, let me tell y'all something and stop believing this. White people are not the majority in this country. White people are 30 to 40% of the population in this country. Black people have always been more than 60% of this country. When we were enslaved, we outnumbered these motherfuckers like 10 to 1. The population of black people is large in this country. You are not 13% by any motherfucking mean. You are more like 60%. When he said that silly shit about New York, LA, and Chicago being the biggest cities in America with the lowest black people population, that's a motherfucking lie. And even what he said is a lie. Those are only 3 of big cities in America with very large populations, larger than white people. Mississippi, that he never mentioned, is the #1 motherfucking state in this country that has the largest fucking population of black people in it to every other fucking state, where they outnumber fucking white people like 30-1. Do you understand me? I say that because I want y'all to understand, when they shout out percentages, this is all propaganda, racial propaganda, to make you feel inferior, to make you believe that you don't have a winning chance. This nigga's a clown. He is a true nigga to the fucking definition. Coon ass nigga. How about that? He is what you don't need. He is a black man wanting to be a white man so fucking bad he can't even speak the truth. You are not 13%. You are 60% or more in this fucking country. If you went and literally counted every fucking black person to a white person, you would be overwhelmed and blown away with how many more of you than there are of them. This is how they maintain their control. It starts with your mind, then it starts with the enforcement, and lastly, it ends with controlling the finances of your life. Wake the fuck up. This is why I'm doing this video. I want you to understand that you can take control of the future of this country and definitely your life if you stop having these stupid motherfucking conversations about relationships with silly ass women on YouTube and start anchoring down in your life and worrying about your political stance, your financial opportunities, your ownership, generational wealth, and personally what you need to do to change the course of your life. Now let's get back to the last part of this interview with this piece of shit so I can wrap up this video.
We overrepresent when it comes to hate crime, when it comes to mass shootings, when it comes to serial killings, when it comes to robberies, when it comes to virtually every category of violent crime. We overrepresent.
So what do white people do wrong? I'm gonna keep asking you that because I want.
It seems to me rather than deal with what's going on, the pathology that's going on in the inner city, you want to blame. You want me to talk about how bad white people are, which I don't think is a particularly productive thing to do.
Well, I think there's a cause and effect, but if we can't talk about the cause, which I believe is systemic racism and white supremacy, the FBI says.
Well, I just told you, if it's systemic racism, please explain to me how it was when America really had systemic racism in 1940. 87% of blacks lived under the poverty line. Again, this is during Jim Crow era. My father is from Athens, Georgia, grew up in Jim Crow. My mom is from Huntsville, Alabama, grew up in Jim Crow. 87% of blacks live below the poverty line. This is before Brown versus Board of Education. You did not find these kind of black on black crime.
Probably because we had no
choice. But they still were living
below
the poverty line, though, sir.
I'm sorry?
You're forgetting the fact that they were still living below the poverty line. You're picking and choosing, saying this was good, but this was bad.
Okay.
The bottom line, they end between the poverty line. But let's move forward.
Can I just address that? In 1940, 87% of blacks lived under the poverty line. 1960, that number had fallen to 47%. That's a 40-point drop in 20 years. That's the greatest 20-year period of economic expansion for black people in the history of America. Again, well before Brown versus Board of Education, well before the KKK imploded, well before we had race-based preferences. Why? Because it was rare for a black kid to be raised in a family without a father in the home. A strong belief in Judeo-Christian values, a belief in patriotism, even as America wasn't applying these values to black people, obviously, and a belief in entrepreneurship. All those things are now under assault by organizations like Black Lives Matter. Charlemagne, Black Lives Matter had on their website an attack on the nuclear family. The founders are self-described Marxists, trained Marxists. Marx wanted to dethrone God, was an atheist, and Marx did not believe in...
Okay, I stopped it when he started going into Marxist because he's just going off the rails at this point. Nothing he's talking about makes sense. It's just rambling because he wants to save face. Okay, those programs that he's talking about, okay, everything that helped black people was from different presidents. Lyndon B. Johnson took a huge chunk of having those black people come up out of poverty. So he needs to give the president his fucking credit that he's not trying to give him, okay? The other thing is, when Charlemagne was asking him about what do white people do, and he adamantly went crazy talking about how he's not talking about white people. He wants to always focus on black people and what they do wrong. This is what gets white people to vote for black people. So see, he's not going to sit there and say, yes, there is a real system of oppression in this country and black people are negatively affected. He can't afford to say that, because once he does, he knows that every white person, and especially every white person who's a Republican, is not going to vote for him. And he doesn't want to spend his time talking with the black women, because if you notice during the interview, the black woman is the only one who is not letting up on that ass and making sure he sticks to answering the question. Whereas if you see with Charlemagne, he literally fades out and just lets the motherfucker talk the bullshit he wants to instead of answering the question. Like when Charlemagne was just trying to get him to answer the thing about, okay, so what is, he was talking about cause and effect. That is a real thing. Where I live in New York City, a lot of these people down here don't have jobs. Is crime high? Yes. Why is crime high? Because people who can't feed their children, they can't pay their rent, and they don't have any prospects of new employment because a lot of things are going automated. Remember that bullshit AI? Well, when you go to the grocery store, we down here are taking a protest against that because we're not doing it, right? We, the people, have said we're not using your automated machines in the grocery store. You better have a cashier there or we do not shop here, because we understand as residents of our community that if people do not have employment, they will be out here waiting on the corner to bash somebody in the head, making our streets unsafe at night, and trying to stab somebody for $5. This is why crime exists. It is not because black people or any other people, because there are more people committing crimes, especially, baby, in New York City than black people. And like I tell y'all all the time, you don't think appropriately, because if you think it's not funny that you never see crimes committed by Asian people, white people especially, Indians, Arabs, Russians, Hispanics, and everybody else, as amply as you see them always trying to throw up a story about a black person or a black male, you must be fucking crazy. White people commit crime down here like a motherfucker. I told you that before. Plug into the cable channels or whatever it is you can get online for Nassau and Suffolk and see how savage the motherfuckers really are. New York City is a small area compared to all the crime that goes on in Nassau and Suffolk and upstate where white people live. So do not ever fall for that. I told y'all that once election time comes, all of these candidates running for office are always trying to throw black people under the bus, always trying to put the black male up, as Hillary Clinton said, the super predator, to make it seem like this is our main enemy, and once we tackle this enemy, life for everyone in America is going to be beautiful and roses. It's not. These white people don't like y'all. They don't like Hispanics. They don't like Asians. They don't like Indians. They don't like anybody who is not white. They don't even like each other, really. Learn the history of this country to know that all of these people come on here lying to you in your face just to get your votes, because this is not about doing the right thing for the people that they're supposed to represent. This is about money and living a good lifestyle based off of your fucking misery and your impoverishness or your poverty. That's all they give a fuck about. This is why this guy is going so hard to try to make it seem like to all the non-black people that may watch this interview, because you know they do, all types of other people always into black people's business because they always think they're missing out on something, right? And for the whitewashed, overly assimilated black people like Divested Zealot, her fucking crew over there, and other ignorant black bitches that think that voting for these racist fucking Republicans, whether they're black like DeSantis, white like DeSantis and black like this dude, or Donald Trump or etc., who hate black people and everything white is better than everything else, no matter how it affects them. This is the shit this black dude is banking on here. This Larry asshole or Larry Coon is banking on. This is what he's banking on. So what I'm banking on is for y'all to wake up, smell the coffee. Black women, I'm talking to you. Move away from worrying about black males and start worrying about your black self only. Worry about what makes you happy in the morning. That doesn't include black males. Getting your money, improving your life, doing better for your children if you have them, and empowering you and your children so we can change. Please, keep spreading the word for black women to show up at the Black Women's March in California in October. I will definitely fucking be there. Make sure you keep spreading the word for people to go sign my fucking petition for black femicide. It is only like 100 or something votes short of 5,000. We need to get attention for that. And notice that whenever you see these people going for office, they never talk about things that affect the black women every day. They need to be talking about how they want to deal with our employment, the violence against us, everything from black femicide to domestic violence, human trafficking, etc. When you see them in person, make those motherfuckers know we're looking at you because you're not talking about anything that concerns us. Bring up those issues. Force them to give you an answer on it. If they're the ones you have in office right now, tell them we need this addressed. Make sure they know you're looking at them about those things to be addressed. Have a good day, y'all. Keep fighting the good fight. Center yourself. Stop this shit on YouTube and in your life in general. The real world is different from YouTube. The shit that goes on here is planned. It is calculated to keep the propaganda going, to keep you being the fucking buffer and the bum who is here for the whole world to step on your back so they get rich and live off you while you take care of the broken black male. Stop doing that shit. Wise the fuck up, wake up, get out of this mentality. Even if you can't get out of your situation or your location, get out of it mentally. Become stronger mentally so that you don't deal with shit you don't got to deal with. Rise above the bullshit. Take care of you and only you. Talk to you soon.